I'll say what the code says, anything that the white supremacists have to do with it. This is the way it's written in the book. Anything that a white supremacist has to do with anything is designed to give greater strength to the system of white supremacy, no matter what it looks like on the surface. And it doesn't make any difference how they go about doing it or who they use to do it. So I wouldn't single out just President Obama, former President Obama. Anytime a white supremacist is involved in anything, the white supremacist agenda is to give greater strength to the system of white supremacy and to make the non-white person or persons weaker and more subject to the dictates of the system of white supremacy. They don't do anything that's not going to bring that about. That's the white supremacist focus. That's their reason for being. That's what they live for. That's the most important thing to them, and nothing else is important to them except that as a priority. So if they have anything to do with it, and anybody who contacted President Obama when he was president, who was a white supremacist, any white person who was a white supremacist, who believed in white supremacy, and had anything to do with sitting down and talking to President Obama, that white person who, as a white supremacist, had one thing in mind: to give greater strength to the system of white supremacy, no matter what it looked like on the surface, because they're good at hiding their main reason for doing whatever they do. And in some things they don't have to hide, because you'll be looking at it, but you don't recognize it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be given greater strength to the system of white supremacy. That's the codified way of answering that question. So, and that applies to any non-white person, period, not just former President Obama. Anytime a white supremacist sits down to talk to you about anything, you better believe, directly, indirectly, they are going to add strength to the system of white supremacy and going to make you more subject to it. That's their whole purpose. And if it doesn't work out that way, then they made a huge mistake in their agenda. And they'll go back to the drawing board and find out where that mistake was made.